Hi guys, Pastor Sion here. I am coming to you on this chilly, gray Northern California day. Just wanted to share really briefly with you about the SWOT. As I mentioned in the email, it can be a little complicated to try to explain in writing, and I'm a visual person, and so I wanted to really lay this out for you. This is a tool that I personally use myself frequently throughout the year, at least a few times, and then especially at the end of every year, it's a tool that I use. And oftentimes, especially at the end of the year, I'm doing this in community. I'm getting together with a couple close friends, and we are sharing with one another, praying for one another, encouraging one another, challenging one another, listening to the Lord on behalf of one another. And so as much as this is great to do just between you and the Lord, I would also encourage you to grab some people, get a group together, grab a couple friends, and make a night of it. Spend some time working through the SWOT and just seeing what God has to say. Now you might hear the kids playing in the background. We're at the park right now because really, honestly, guys, this is how we do life and leadership, right? It's just part of our everyday life. And so you'll have to just ignore the screaming kids in the background. But real briefly and basically what the SWOT looks like, it actually ends up being a grid, and it looks like this. SWOT. And you can draw this out yourself. So that's where we get SWOT from. The S stands for strength, and I have horrible handwriting, so you guys are just going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry. Strengths. The W, as you might have already guessed, stands for weakness. The O up here is opportunity. And the T is threat. And when we connect these points, we end up getting a grid that looks something like this. Now this axis right here, this has to do with us internally. This is our own personal internal areas of strength and weakness. This axis here is external. These are the things that are outside of our control, the opportunities around us or the potential external threats. And what we see happening when these points connect is that each quadrant on the grid here is a different experience that we may have. So up here, when our weakness, our internal weakness, meets an external opportunity, basically there's an opportunity, but we just don't have the strength to engage with it, this takes us to a place of frustration. So this upper left corner is a place of frustration. This quadrant down here, where an external threat exists and we don't have the strength to engage, this takes us to a place of failure. And again, we don't love to think about the idea of weakness or to talk about the idea of failure, but remember that right now we're talking about experiences. We're not talking about our identity. So just because we have a place of failure in our lives doesn't mean that we are failures. It just means that this is a place where some really intentional engaging needs to happen. Then over here, the bottom right quadrant, this is our place of battle. A place of strength for us that is being met with some type of external threat, our place of battle. And then up here, and this is the one that we love and always want to get to, this is our place of breakthrough. So what we do with the SWOT is we examine our lives, we reflect on our lives, and we start mapping things out. Where am I experiencing frustration? Where am I experiencing failure? Where are the places of battle in my life? Where am I experiencing breakthrough? Where are the places that there is great opportunity, but I don't have the strength to engage with it? And as we begin mapping things out and figuring out, okay, what's frustration, what's failure, what's battle, what's breakthrough, what that really does is it shows us how to engage with it. A lot of times it's really easy to think that everything is a battle. And we're not negating the fact that spiritual battle exists and is very, very real. And there's going to be a lot of seasons of battle in our life. But if we're thinking that something is a battle and that it's therefore out of our control, we may not be engaging with it in the appropriate way. We may not realize, you know what, this is actually a place of frustration. And what I really need to be focusing on is how can I grow my weaknesses? How can I strengthen How can I strengthen myself in one particular way that's going to allow me to engage better with this opportunity? And so first we map out the places of frustration, failure, battle, and breakthrough in our lives. And then we can start asking the Lord, okay, how do I respond to each of these? For the places of frustration, how do I respond to this opportunity? Is it maybe just not the right time or the right season? Or is there some strengthening that I need to be doing? Are there some routines and rhythms that I need to change? Some practices that I need to engage in? Some habits that I need to build into my life? Some mentorship that I need to seek out? Some training, some coaching, some counseling that I can involve myself in that's going to allow me to engage with this opportunity in a better way and bring it into a place of breakthrough. Our goal is always to figure out, what do we need to be praying into and what do we need to be responding to in order to move our frustrations and our failures and our battles into a place of breakthrough. And a couple important points to remember. Oftentimes, as we're moving into breakthrough, it's not always linear. It would be really nice if we could take something from a point of frustration directly into breakthrough, but oftentimes it ends up looking a little more like this. We might dip into failure, we might dip into battle before actually arriving in breakthrough. And so this is why it's important for us to be battle ready. And the final thing that I'll say is that when we get to a point of breakthrough, there's a few key things that I like to remember. One is that breakthrough is not a place where we get to sit back and put our feet up. Breakthrough is something that still needs to be intentionally stewarded well. And also, when we're coming out of a place of failure or frustration or battle, we are going to be weary. We're going to be tired. Because whether we're in frustration, failure, or battle, that's exhausting. It can tire us mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And so breakthrough is the place for us to shore up our defenses. Breakthrough is the place for us to pause and really examine, okay, where am I weak? What's tired? What's broken? What's lacking? What kind of rest and rebuilding needs to happen after the battle, after the failure, after the frustration, so that I can get to a place of strength and health and wholeness again. So again, we start by simply mapping out the places in our life that are in frustration, failure, battle, and breakthrough. We seek a word for the Lord from what would it look like for me to intentionally engage with this area of my life, and what is God's plan to bring me to breakthrough. And then in a place of breakthrough, we say, all right, Lord, what does it look like for me to intentionally steward my life right now in this season so that I can be strengthened and rested again for the next season that's going to come. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope it was meaningful. I know I've been sharing a lot of tools over the past couple weeks, and I have a few more to share in the weeks to come with you, just regarding ways that you can process at the end of the year and project into the year to come. I hope that 2019 is wrapping up, even if it's been a tough year of challenges and battle and failure and frustration. I pray that you will see the word of breakthrough, that's what you'll hear from God, that you will hear the hope and the promise and the goodness that He still has in store. And as we begin looking into 2020, I know that God has good and amazing plans for each of you. And so I'm just excited to hear what comes up for you as you engage with Him in these areas. So love you guys. Until next week, I'll see you.